What's up, guys? I'm Legit Eagle, and you're watching another video. So I got a couple questions before we start. 1. Are you a degenerate Yu-Gi-Oh player? 2. Do you like seeing all your friends and Yu-Gi-Oh players in general rage and want to quit Yu-Gi-Oh after playing you? And 3. Have you ever heard of Mystic Mine? If any of those questions result in a yes from you, you most definitely have to see this deck list, because this is exactly what you have been looking for. I guarantee if you play this deck against absolutely anybody, they will rage. They will probably scoop after your first turn. And if somehow they don't, I guarantee they'll scoop game 2. We're going to get straight into this. And, I just got to say this. For all of you people that have had to play against Mystic Mine, I feel sorry for you. I've realized that this deck should not have been created. However, I cannot withhold information from my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh players. So this is the Mystic Mine deck. Like I said, it should not be played. It's going to make people rage. If you want to play it, go ahead, but you're going to lose some friends. I've even titled it Never Play This. That's how terrible this deck is going to be for anybody who plays against it. We got 3 dimension shifters. This was really interesting because I made this deck and I wasn't really paying as much attention as I normally do to creating the deck. So I did some test hands, did some test games against people, and either they scooped or I just completely messed it up, like halfway not reading dimension shifters effect, where I didn't realize that you had to have 0 cards in your graveyard. After I realized that, though, then I was able to use it to its fullest potential. So basically, if you end up going second, you can just drop Dimension Shifter, and their starting board's going to be a whole lot worse than normal, especially since Called by the Grave is at 1. There's going to be a super small chance that they're going to be able to respond to it if you drop this at the beginning of their turn. Also, if you're first and you just drop like Mystic Mine and maybe some other things, as long as you don't get anything in your graveyard, you can drop this on their turn and it'll just make them quit, because then they're not going to be able to do absolutely anything. 3 Planet Pathfinders. You distribute it and you get a field spell card from your deck to hand. I actually got this idea from some other YouTubers. I didn't know this card existed, but this is most definitely a really good idea. So then there's Silent Wabi. So I've actually been thinking about putting this card in a Mystic Mine deck for a while. I'm not a big fan of Mystic Mine. I think Mystic Mine should be banned. But Silent Wabi really helps you out if you don't have Field Barrier, but you have Mystic Mine. You can just set Mystic Mine on the field, or not set it, activate it. Then you put Silent Wabi on their side of the field and you get 2,000 life points, so that's helpful. We have one final countdown. So this card, just pay 2,000 life. After 20 turns have passed, you win the duel. And after 20 turns, you win. That's pretty much it. You just gotta hold out for 20 turns. But I doubt they're even gonna last that long because they're gonna scoop. Then we have 1 Terraforming. The Terraforming is for Mystic Mine. 3 Field Barrier. As you can see, this is all messed up. If you're wondering why, it's because I have it all set up for like what you can switch out for side deck for game 2. So there's 3 Field Barrier. Don't worry, there's 3 Mystic Mine. Field Barrier stops Mystic Mine from being destroyed by its own effect or other people's cards' effect. 3 Prohibitions. So this card's really good. You can use it to negate Lightning Storm, Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twisters, or let's say your opponent's playing Eldritch. You can use it on Eldritch, and then they can't use Eldritch anymore unless they destroy this card. It doesn't affect cards that are already on the field, though, and that's the problem. It's still pretty good because, as you can see, we do have 3 Goddess Golds, so you can just see what cards they're going to be drawing and then use Prohibition and make it to where they can't use it either way. 3 Demise the Lands. we just have the we're trying to get Mystic Mine. That's the entire goal. Get Mystic Mine, you win. So we have as many possible ways to get it. We have like 9, 10. We have like 10 different ways to get it. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get it. 3 Goddess Gold Oracle. You can also change what cards they're drawing. You can look at the top 3 and put them in any order. That's really helpful because you can stop them from getting any cards that you can't stop with the cards that you have in your deck. Because what if they're just playing some random deck that you've never heard of? That's a really good way to stop it. Oh, never mind. 12 ways of getting Mystic Mine. 2 Left Arm Offerings. This card comes at a heavy price, but if you already have everything that you need on the field and you just are missing like one card to win, like you have your Mystic Mine, you have your Field Barrier, Prohibition, your Goddess Gold Oracle, and all you're missing is Cauldron or Final Countdown. You can activate Left Arm Offering, and then you banish your entire hand and add 1 spell from your deck to your hand. So that's really helpful if you're just missing like one card. 3 Tactical Talents. We're playing 2 of them. This card's really good because you can either draw 2 cards if you need it, and you can take control of 1 monster your opponent controls till the end phase. I don't use that effect ever. There's really no point because you're trying to keep all the monsters on your opponent's side of the field. But the 3rd effect is also pretty interesting. You can look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card from it, shuffle it into the deck. So let's say you didn't draw your Prohibition, but they still have something that could destroy your Mystic Mine because you didn't draw Field Barrier either. You just drop 3 Tactical Talents and you can shuffle one of their spell negations into the deck. 1 Cauldron of the Old Man. I decided to play 1 Cauldron and 1 Final Countdown, unless that way if the opponent plays Prohibition, because I've actually played a lot of games with this deck just to test it out, and I keep running into people using Prohibition on Final Countdown, but they don't expect me to just drop Cauldron of the Old Man, and then they still lose either way. So it's just good to have a second way to win on your first game. 3 Dark Bribes. If they figure out a way to destroy your board, or if you just want to be super mean and make them want to quit before you can even drop Mystic Mine or anything, this is just a really good backup plan to completely slow them down. It'll help you stay alive another turn so you get another draw, and hopefully you can get Mystic Mine on the field. Yeah, 3 Field Barriers. But I don't think you really need 3. That's why I put it down here. Because like I said, this is all the cards that you can side out. 3 Pot of Extravagances. You can use this card when you're not planning on using the Numeron engine, because then you could just get more draw power and get other cards that you need to get Mystic Mine. 3 Pot of Duality. I never played this card, ever. The card sucks. It only works in Mystic Mine because you don't have to special summon any monsters. That's the only time I ever play Pot of Duality. And that is the main deck. This main deck is absolutely broken. If you play first or second on the game 1, you're going to win with this deck. Unless you just get a extremely bad hand. I'm actually going to play a live game with this deck and show you that no matter what hand you get, you're going to win. So then we're going on to the extra deck. 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, and 2 Link Spiders. I doubt that this is ever going to be used. I haven't used it in all the games I've played with this deck. But then we have 2 number 1s, 2 number 2s, 2 number 3s, a number 4, and a Zexal. This is for the Numeron engine, which is going to make people cry. So basically the entire plan of this deck is destroy them round 1, or game 1, whichever. And then when you go side in for game 2, they're going to bring in cards that stop you from playing Mystic Mine. So then what you do is you side out 2 Mystic Mine, you side out your 3 Pot of Duality because you can't special summon monsters if you use Pot of Duality. Then you're going to side out 3 Pot of Extravagances because they might banish your cards that you need. And you're going to side out 1 Field Barrier. Once you side all those out, you can side in your 3 Numeron Walls, 3 Numeron Networks, and 3 Numeron Callings. And then you can just use these cards to either, if you're going second, you can destroy them with your Numeron things because they double every time your Numeron gates because they double in attack every time you attack with them. So that's overpowered. Or if you're going first, you can use the wall network and calling to get 3 of them out, and you can link into Utopic Zexal, which basically just stops them from playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you guys understand yet why this deck is so absolutely crazy and why nobody should be playing this deck? For the other 6 cards that we have in our side deck, I have 2 Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell. Let's say that I know they're main decking Lightning Storm, and I just don't feel like I have enough outs to it. Just set Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell, activate it. Lightning Storm isn't a problem for the rest of the duel. 3 Dark Ruler no more. Let's say they go first and you don't have any outs to whatever board they're building. Just side them some Dark Ruler no mores and you can stop their board no matter what. An extra Cauldron of the Old Man. Let's say 1 Cauldron of the Old Man isn't enough for you. You can just bring in another Cauldron of the Old Man. It'll increase the chances of drawing it in case you're just impatient and you want to end the duel faster. This deck is nuts. You know, I'm starting to regret creating it. I'm not going to lie. Man. Guys, just make sure never to play this on your friends. If you play this on your friends, they're going to quit the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I can promise you that. Yeah, but like I've said, while this deck might be fun for you to play it against people, it's not fun for people to play against this deck. However, if one of your friends makes you mad, feel free to play this deck. Just get some sweet revenge on them. Or, even better, if you have a friend that just started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're still getting used to all the new rules and stuff, just use this deck. Every single part of this deck completely defies what Yu-Gi-Oh! Should be, and it's going to really confuse them and make them stop playing with you immediately.